It's the talk of the town. So come on and listen now. It's Deano's Night Out on WRMN 1410. On WRMN, it's the talk of the town. So come on and listen now. It's Deano's Night Out on WRMN 1410.
And hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Deano's Night Out. Right here, each and every single Friday, Studio 14 from 2 to 4 o'clock. Man, have I got a show for you today. Originally, we were going to have Ron Onesti himself show up, but because of the Columbus Day and business constraints, we weren't able to get him this weekend. Hopefully, we're going to get him next weekend because just around the corner is Columbus Day. But first and foremost, I want to give a tribute to my mom. My mom, we lived on the south side of Chicago, originally 26th and Wallace. And anybody that knows the neighborhood, 26th and Wallace, that's the home of the Chicago White Sox, which is, we are broadcasters for the White Sox channel as well. But my mom, I always talk about 5'11", toughest woman you'd ever want to meet in that neighborhood. And we had some rough people in that neighborhood, Bridgeport area, Canaryville. So nonetheless, she was a diehard Sox fan. So, Mom, I love you. I know you're looking down on me. Go Cubbies, honey. Go Cubbies. All right. We got that out of the way. So many things, like I said, we have to talk about. But I first want to do our proper things. This show is brought to us all by the Arcada Theater, which is Ron Onesti of oshows.com. We know he's located at 105 East Main Street in beautiful downtown St. Charles. So here's what he's got going on today and tomorrow. Lately, I've been highlighting just what's going on there because we've had so much content, but I still wanted to make sure you knew what was happening. So although the day may be wrong, today is October the 3rd, the Arcada Theater, those of you watching this on the YouTube, Arcada Theater tonight at 8 o'clock will have Fleetwood Mac and Meatloaf. So Fleetwood Mac, they're the premier Fleetwood Mac tribute band. You're not going to want to miss them. And Meatloaf, world-class show that delivers the powerful, wide-ranging male and female operatic lead vocals, along with the epic theatrical element that Meatloaf fans have come to love. In an unforgettable evening of smash hits, if you love the music of Meatloaf, get revved up, man, because Meatloaf really incites each and every one of you there for crying out loud and the words of the Meatloaf legend himself, keep rocking. So that's tonight at the Arcada Theater. Pay no attention to the date. And that's at the Arcada Theater tonight at 8 p.m. Now, on Saturday, once again, that would be the 4th. Those of you playing the home game. So on the Arcada Theater, October the 4th, 105 East Main Street, they got Firehouse with special guest Steelheart. Firehouse is taking the stage to give a long dose of metal. Get pumped up for a night of wild rock and roll that leave your ears ringing for days to come. You'll hear all of your favorites like Don't Treat Me Bad, Love of a Lifetime, All She Wrote, When I Look Into Your Eyes, and many, many more. And then Steelheart, who is actually, I believe, is going to be their special guest. They're in their rock and roll band fronted by internationally known Croatian-American musician Miljenko Matalovic. How you like that? So Malenko, powerful, multi-phase vocal range is and always has been the steel heart and soul of what is Steel Heart. So you're going to want to catch that. And before I go to our in-studio guest, I want to remind everybody, Monday, October the 13th, 2025, is the 73rd annual Columbus Day Parade. This goes right down State Street, folks, not just like any other parade. This one goes right down from starting at Wacker, and there's going to be a presentation, I believe, at high noon or a little before. And then from that, we're going to go right down Wacker Drive. You want more information, go to www.jccia.org. Also an organization I belong to. We're very proud and privileged to have Ron Onesti as president of that organization as well. So a lot of things are happening, so much going on. Next week, I promise we're either going to have Ron or a representative in here to tell you about all the things the Columbus Day Parade represents. I thought this picture kind of captured it all. On this float over here, this was from last year, we, as Italian Americans, invite all ethnicities to our parade. And we have them all. We have the Polonaise, we have the Hispanic, we have the African American groups, we have the Jewish community represented, the Greek community represented. There's not a community that is not represented that is at our parade, because why? We believe in inclusion. October 13th, we even had the indigenous people. Last year, they came in, from several different states, and they loved the parade. We had talked about it. They're not upset about the Columbus Day and celebrating Columbus Day. These are times in our history that we have all gone through. And I think it's times that we need to say, hey, I acknowledge it. I understand what happened. Let's get better from it, okay? Instead of all this arguing and all this fighting, let's get away from that stuff. We are one. We are all people, okay? That's my message to everyone listening today. We are people. Our radio station, we welcome everybody here at WRMN, which is why we changed our format to be community broadcasters. Community broadcasters such as this. This morning's show with Chief Anna Lally, she had her crew who does the domestic violence. Now, they all work right outside of the police department, but if you heard the show, and I urge you to go back to it, domestic violence is one of the most unreported crimes, if you will, because of the situation that it is. But so many things have happened. So many things have changed. If you're a victim to any domestic violence, I urge you to go to the police station. Reach out to any one of the ladies. Start out with Chief Anna Lally, and she will direct you to who would be the best suited. But once again, they have one of the vehicles that have been wrapped, which has been donated by many people of the public within the Elgin community and even beyond in some cases. So the idea of wrapping these police vehicles, they're on patrol 24 hours a day. What better way to get a message out? So this is what we've elected to do, is also, as community broadcasters, promote each and every event. And they got something coming up on October the 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's called, and it's their third annual, it's called the Domestic Violence Awareness Walk. So get yourself over there. It's right behind City Hall, that little courtyard area. I believe that's where it all takes place. But please, check on it. You're not going to be disappointed. So many things that go on in the communities around us, and this is what we're trying to get out to you, our listeners, right here on WRMN, 1410 AM, as well as the YouTube. All you got to go to youtube.com/@WRMN Radio. And if you have any questions while we are doing our shows, we encourage you to call 847-931-1410. Real simple, 847-931, and the last four digits of our call letters, 1410. You know, we hear a lot of people always have comments after the shows go on, but we don't hear you. We want to hear you. We get a lot of emails. I get a lot of stuff to the email. I get a lot of stuff sent to me personally. But that being said, we encourage you to call. Please do me that favor and give us a call. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a short break, very, very short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to a gentleman that's definitely no stranger to our station. He's been here on many different occasions. Tom Holbrook, who is putting together what is called the Bozeum. So, hey, folks, stand by. We will be back in just a few short moments. Hey, and we are back at Deano's Night Out. I'm going to get to our first guest here in just a few short seconds. There's not really too much to, kind of preface ahead of time. And the gentleman's name is Tom Holbrook. And Tom Holbrook has the Bozeum. And Tom has probably the biggest private Bozo collection that's known to anybody at this point. So, that all being said, I would like to introduce my guest, Mr. Tom Holbrook. How you doing today, Tom?
Doing great, Mr. Deano. I'm doing great. Good afternoon, WRMN. Thank you for listening.
Oh, everybody loves to listen. We got to get their calls in. And again, any questions you got for Tom, it's 847-931-1410. So listen, what's going on? I mean, I understand you had yourself a nice little interview.
Yeah, we had a great interview on Monday, and yesterday was my big cake day. Got to eat some cake.
And you promised me some was your birthday.
Yeah, well.
So happy birthday to you a day late.
There's no cake left, I'm sorry.
I did think you did. I really don't need it either.
Yeah, there was only a couple of slices. But yeah, it was a birthday party, and interestingly enough, Mr. Rick West from the Daily Herald came out on Monday and spent some time with me, and we talked about the Bozeum and the setup and what we're looking to do with everything. And then yesterday in the afternoon, digitally, the Daily Herald dropped this article, and then this hit the stands this morning.
And I have a few pictures that I'm going to share with the folks as well, if you don't mind.
Oh, you share whatever you like, Mr. Deano.
Oh, you're the gentleman that you are.
There we are. Look at that.
There we go. So this is what I saw out of the article. It shows you, first you're trying to hide your face.
No.
I know it. I know it.
I thought it was a real creative photo there.
Yeah.
That's actually a photograph of me during the time that I portrayed Bozo the Clown from 2002 to around 2006. And we did some studio shots for promotion and such. And I'm wearing the WGN wig, and then the costume, because the costume, I still had to pick it up from the station for the event that I was doing. I worked the Bozo Ball for a few years at the Navy Pier. It's a very large charity organizational event, black tie, and that costume was being held by the station, and I didn't retrieve that until like the day before the event. But so we took some shots here. I had WGN's wig on, that's Joey Dioria's wig, which fit really nice. And then I was actually wearing a costume that I had created back in the 90s that literally helped me to get the job later on.
And I got a question on the costume, because I know there's a difference between the blue costume and the red costume. Can you explain that briefly?
Oh, yeah.
Because in the picture, you're sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
And you have there's a red costume.
There's one of the red costumes. In this article here,
is that Ray Brown?
That's actually Mr. Nedlock, Bob Bell, and Ray Rayner on this image
what did
here.
I say, Ray Brown?
Yeah, that's okay. Well,
I got all
actually, Roy Brown was Cookie the Clown.
Roy.
Yeah, Roy was Cookie the Clown for many years. He was also the puppeteer for Garfield Goose's Friends. And so in the early days of the Chicago show, the costume was red. And now the show started in 1960, but then Bozo Circus was relaunched, or Bozo was relaunched as Bozo Circus in 1961. And you had me on celebrating 65 years of Bozo making his debut in Chicago on that station.
And they went to the blue.
Yeah, well, they didn't go to the blue until probably 68, 69 or so. I might be a little off on that, but about a year into getting into color, they went into the blue costume.
What was the reason for that?
The here's the story I was told. The red costume was chosen when Don Sandberg asked Bob Bell, which color do you like more, red or blue? And then I've also heard the story, and then Bob chose red. And then I've also heard the story that the red costume showed up better on black and white television.
Okay.
And so I don't precisely know because sadly everyone has passed away. And there has been some interviews with Don Sandberg and with Bob and such that may mention the actual facts.
Producers as well may know.
Yeah. If they're still with us, God bless them all.
Mm-hmm.
God bless them all.
65 years. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 65 years. The show was launched in 1960 originally, and it was just Bob dressed as Bozo, and there wasn't no real circus. There may have been a set. There's not too much archive footage from that era.
Right.
And
things used to be put on film. They weren't saved like they were, or tape rather, and they would tape over the different episodes. Is that fact?
That would have been like 2-inch quad tape back then. And I don't rightfully know. There might be some people out there, some big fans out there that might know precisely if they actually recorded it or if it was live. More so it was live. And a lot of fans go, they ask the question, how do I get a chance to see Bozo shows from the past? Because I was on the show, my brother was on the show or something. Unfortunately, the noontime show in most cases was live.
Okay.
And maybe on a special situation, special circumstance, they would record the show. But it wasn't too often. Whatever footage the station has been availed was either saved by staff members or fans when the recording processes at home became apropos, and or maybe performers or something that may have shot their own footage.
Wanted their own piece.
Yeah, there has been some interesting footage. The stuff that I like is the candid stuff. There has been some interesting footage that was shot from the audience's perspective, and it was shot on like a wind-up silent movie camera.
Okay.
So it has a lot of nostalgia to it.
Yeah, I'm going to click on this next one, and I'm going to want you to explain. You explained it to me, but the pertinence of the child bed and the
oh my
nightstand.
goodness sakes!
I know that's quite a story.
Oh, I could regale you guys for an hour of all the craziness. I just want to give a shout out. I don't know how the audience feels, but the higher power, God has been good all the time, and a lot of things have come to fruition. In a way that I have to attribute them to the higher power.
Absolutely.
I have to. And you see this crazy bed setup, and I have a display piece laying on the bed there because it's very fragile, blow molded plastic, and I don't want it to get any more beat up than it is already. And so I laid it on there just for safety situation. And there's a lot of material that's out of place that's being set there because I want it in that environment, but it hasn't been staged yet. You've got pillows, and you have a clothing tree and a coat rack and a television with the records, and you have a clothing rack there with T-shirts hanging off it, which will have a lot of Bozo T-shirts. But that bed setup was most unusual. A friend gifted me a crib setup, and I brought it to the location. Oh, we're on break.
Can you believe it's already the bottom
goes
of
fast.
the hour? Oh, very fast. So listen, we're going to come right back. You're going to stick around for a while. So I'm here with Tom Holbrook, putting together the Bozeum, talking about this great article that was in the Daily Herald. And we're going to talk some more about that, but we're going to finish the story about the bedroom setup that is in this particular shop. So, hey, hang with us, everybody. Be back in just a few short. WRMN 1410 AM in Studio 14 Live with my very dear friend, Tom Holbrook. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Deano's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town. So come on and listen now.
Hey, we are back. Deano's Night Out. Man, we lost track of time real fast. I mean, just because we took that short break and we did our little front half of sponsorship and what have you. But, man, we got so much more in front of us. But when we got cut off, we were talking, and I'm going to go right back to that screen. We were talking about the bed, of how you were originally given a crib, and then you more or less changed it into a bed. Is that what the situation is?
Yeah, that's like one of the, you see the headboard there. That's
Right.
one of the side ends of the crib, and it was wood to begin with, and I covered it with repurposed vinyl adhesive, and the end posts of the bed were not circular like you see them there. Those are actually cardboard tubes that I fitted, interestingly, onto the square rails that were on the side there. And the little red balls that you see were from a tchotchke toy that was sold at like the Dollar Trees. And I really thought it would fit the size of the tube and add to the look that I was going for. There will be a couple of little segments in the Bozeum that will lend themselves to, i.e., like the bedroom here. It'll have the bedroom items in there. You'll have the alarm clock and the night light and clothing and things that you would find in a kid's bedroom that would have been in there back then. And then we'll also have it staged so you'll have the food products and a little leaf table, and you'll see the Bozo cereal and the bowl and the milk and all the crazy stuff that was licensed by Mr. Larry Harmon back in the day.
And I know you shared those items with me, but I wanted the people who haven't heard this story before to understand, well, what do you got a kid's bed in there for? You know, well, it's because of all the pieces.
And it was a fun place to put the folk art. I like collecting the folk art. I have some pieces from the 60s and from the 70s that kids
Lamps,
created.
piggy banks.
Yeah, things like that. That too. Those are licensed items. And the folk art, I needed a place to hang that material on the wall. And I was like, well, why not in the bedroom? Because it's away from the commercial stuff. It's almost like the person who was in the bedroom, if it were Bozo's bedroom or a child's bedroom, it's like they created the artwork and put it up there. Some of the artwork goes all the way back to '63, and which was someone saw like a TV guide cover, and they said, "Oh, I want to make a painting of that," and so they did. And of course, with my retentiveness, I was lucky enough to acquire it, and it just adds to it. Like in the article in the Daily Herald, I comment about finding the candid items. And if anybody has candid items out there, photographs with their favorite pal Bozo.
How would they reach you?
Oh, they can reach me by texting me at 224-760-3747. Or you can reach out to me via email, all lowercase letters. It's a Yahoo address at Tommy, Tommy, period, Holbrook, HOLBROOK at yahoo.com.
Say that text number one more time.
The text phone number, it's really easy. It's 224-760-3747.
Got it.
And if you have photographs, I understand you have an emotional attachment to them. I don't want to take them from you. And if you want to give them up, I'd be happy to receive them, or we could work something out. But to find a copy is good as well. And if you played the grand prize game, we're going to have a special wall dedicated to the grand prize game. And as I was saying about the food products, we're going to have a table set up so you can have all the various food products. You name it, it was more than likely licensed as a Bozo product.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got a certain flair for this. You have a lot of creativity.
Oh, you're very kind.
And you've been given this gift, of course, by...
WRMN is awesome.
Now, I'm talking about your real gift that you've been given for this is your higher power that has given you this vision to turn your collection into the Bozeum. Am I not right?
I would have to agree, but I'll tell you what, in my own humanness, I had moments of doubt. That I wasn't really sure that this was going to come to fruition. I posted it on Facebook a couple of days ago that I actually had a dream to do something like this back in the late 90s. And I would travel past the station after I got off of 90, and there was a little strip mall there with a corner unit that was available. And it was available for quite some time. And I had an idea to stage the collection there. And I figured 150 people a day, 26 weeks out of the year, who waited 10 years to see the TV show or be a part of the TV show would love to visit a place like that. And of course, you'd go through and see all the memorabilia and materials. Now, it's not just Chicago, it would be across the nation,
Right.
as well as the plethora of marketed material. But then you'd have to go through the Bozo gift shop. And
Yeah.
you could buy old stuff and new
Nice.
stuff. And it'd be a great way to license the material and get it out there and market it and release it to people. And luckily, I found out that the show was going to be canceled. And so I never signed the lease and got myself into a situation where no show, no dough. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But with the help of my friends at the Responsive Mailroom, we were able to stage the collection for the Collector's Call episode on MeTV. And they actually aired that twice. They aired it the previous season, and then they recently aired it again to open this season.
And that's the picture on the right. That's
Yeah, Collector's Call right there. We
go.
had that poster printed up, and all the people and the staff came by and signed it, and that was really cool of them.
nice.
And but you'll see a lot of material on those pictures there. And right now, I honestly got ahead of myself because I had to feel how the room was going to flow. And there was a lot of work involved. As you know, the walls had to be cleaned and patched and then primed and then painted. And in order to do all that, I had to acquire the paint. The paint was a blessing, a donation. And a friend of mine, Tim, he's a
Well, there's
painter.
so many different people, including myself, that are Bozo fans. I mean, as a little reference, they're big shoes to fill, as you
Oh,
could
yeah,
show.
here's some shoes right here. Yeah.
So you've got some huge shoes that you're
Actually
having
worn,
to
look
fill.
at that, yeah.
And it's really something. I mean, what you've put together is really just, let me get you, there we go. It's just short of amazing.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
You know, and you have the history of when it was owned by Capitol Records originally, and then it took its transition into Chicago. But every state or several states had their own market of Bozos. Is that
Every
correct?
major marketplace in the
Okay.
country had a Bozo show at one time or
And not
another.
all of them looked alike.
No, and not everyone had the large production that the Chicago show had. The Chicago show had one of the largest productions thanks to the vision of Don Sandberg. He's the one that said, hey, Bob Trendler's band is on payroll. Why don't we bring him in? And they really, once you heard that circus band kick up,
Oh, yeah.
that really added to the overall ambiance. But you touched a little bit on Capitol Records. You know that Bozo the Clown is going to be celebrating his 79th year as an American icon this November. 1946, Capitol Records released Bozo at the Circus.
And what do you have anything that shows what he looked like? back then?
Bozo at the Circus was the first time that Capitol Records ever released a Bozo product, and it was the first time that a record and a book were timed together.
Okay.
So when you're playing the record and Bozo blew his whistle, that's when you turn the page.
I got you.
Yeah. So here we got a photograph showing Pinto Colvig right here, Pinto Colvig, in a sailor outfit. This was taken in the Clyde Beatty Circus at the Yankee Patterson Fairgrounds and in California in 1946, probably around the spring of 46. And initially, the whimsical illustrations that are in the Bozo at the Circus record reader were actually going to be photographs. And here's Clyde Beatty, the world's famous circus trainer here and lion tamer and everything. And this is what Bozo would have looked like. He would have looked like a sailor. And then they changed the character. And I got a little piece here. It's a piece of sheet music. I think people get a kick out of this. Bozo's song. And here's what Capitol Records changed the character to look like. And you'll see that the music and the lyrics and such are by Mr. Alan Livingston, who is a friend of mine and helped me in regards to motivating me for the Bozo Chronicles that I published in 2010. He wrote the foreword for it, and
nice.
very touching for that.
So I got to ask you, I remember seeing some of the Bozo photos, dolls and what have you. I mean, they were almost scary looking. They looked like Raggedy Ann dolls, or they look nothing like this. So what year was that?
Well, that would
was that still in the 1946?
Yeah, 1946.
So everybody was just running
1956.
wild on what they wanted to do as far as who Bozo was going to look like. Is that it?
No, Capitol Records initially had, well, there's a story in regards to the actual creation of the character
Okay.
with that Pinto Kovic was involved with. Livingston.
That was the actual first Bozo.
Yeah, it was Pinto Kovic. He was also the voice of Goofy and Pluto, as well as an animator and story writer for Walt Disney.
Okay.
And early in the day, he was basically an employee, but he was a contract player for Capitol Records and the Benny show and Jack Benny show, and he did a lot of radio and such like that. He did a lot of voiceovers,
Okay.
and a lot of animal and sound effects voices. He was prolific at that. So initially, this is what Bozo was to look like, but then they changed it. But in the original record reader, they actually kept this image, and they. Later on, they caught up with continuity, and they altered it all to look basically like this character here.
Right.
And that was in 1946, and he did have yarn hair and an oversized nose and the same frilly collar costume and everything. But in 1956, when the character, well, let me back up just a little bit. Capitol Records was really taken back with the fact that Bozo became as popular as he did. In 1946, the character debuted. By 1948, marketing and manufacturers were contacting Capitol Records and wanted to put out Bozo products. And customers were asking, can Bozo make appearances? And so Capitol Records really found out that they had a person novelty, as they called him. They called Bozo a person novelty. And Bozo could be all around anywhere. In the country, at every major Capitol Records office, they had a Bozo costume and makeup, and they hired people to portray the character at record stores and such. And then they created a really fun promotional movie, and it's called Bozo Circus, and it was shot at Culver City in 1949, and it debuted in 51 in Hutchinson, Kansas. And that film, if you go on YouTube, folks, you can look for it. Go on YouTube and key in Bozo Circus. And my friend Mike posted that. And you'll see the first time that Pinto Kovic ever was on film speaking as Bozo. And then you'll see the second Bozo, who is Sid Saylor portraying the character. And you'll see Art LaRue. It's a great movie.
When Pinto was doing it, did he have that big jolly laugh and everything?
It was a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit different. And in fact, you know, to be honest, people look at it now, they say, oh, that's kind of creepy. Because Hollywood has really changed the perspective and the persona of clowns, which is something that David Arquette is working hard to change. He wants people to know that clowns are here for fun. Clowns are not to be monster sized.
The Shriners have had the fun.
Oh, we love the Shriner
for
clowns.
years.
The Shriner
Absolutely.
Circus is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
What a great $1 million, fundraiser and charity fundraiser for the Shriners hospitals and everything. Here's a little
Great things.
Here's a little guilty story that I like to share with people. I was working a show in Nebraska called Dr. Sanguinary's Creature Features, and I did puppeteering and set design and prop development and all kinds of gag writing and all kinds of stuff. And the character that I portrayed was a mixture between Wizzo and Grandpa Munster and Bert from Soap.
Okay.
And a lot of people may not remember.
No, I remember Soap.
And he was called Zombini. It was
Billy Crystal got his start off.
Oh,
of
yeah,
Soap.
he sure did.
Yeah.
And the character was kind of like Wizzo, but instead of saying doody doody doo, he said doodly doodly doo.
Okay.
And I had a stone as well. And I would always close my scene on the show, and I'm digressing a little bit, but I would close the scene in the show by doing the Bert vanishing. And now Zombini will do the only trick that Zombini can do that no one else can do. I will make myself disappear. I'm going. And then he would move his arms like this and he'd snap his fingers. I'm gone. And in Bert's mind on Soap, whenever he did that arm movement, and snapped his
invisible.
finger, he was invisible.
Yeah.
And so I took that on, and people were laughing about it. But what I like to do for the Shriners, and I've been doing it for years through the help of other people, I have collected over 60 gallons of pull tabs from beverage cans. And the Shriners utilized the pull tabs to pay for the transportation for the children to the hospital and such. And I guess there's more aluminum in that pull tab than there is in the entire can.
I think there is.
Yeah, that's what they say. I can't believe that, but that's what they say. So 60 gallons. My mindset was to collect 1 million pull tabs. I have no idea if 60 gallons is 1 million pull tabs.
I mean,
But do you know how small those things are?
It's got to be close if it's not 1 million.
But people have handed me bags of, oh, here, we saved these for you.
And are they still collecting them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have some that I have to take into the Shriners. I'd like to go out to Nebraska. I've got a number of friends out there and
Nice.
such. But that's my little story about the Shriners. And they're really great people. And,
They have a facility in Oak Park.
Mhm.
They have one, I think, in Bloomingdale.
We'll have to get Wizzo to go out there.
Yeah,
Have some
he'd
fun.
love to see it. The one in Oak Park, I used to go there and I used to play Santa Claus in the 70s. And I'm going to tell you something. You talk about children that are afflicted with burns,
Cleft palates, burns, and crippling disabilities. Yeah.
2 arms missing, 3, whatever. But they are so grateful for anybody to show them any attention and to see Santa Claus.
They have a normalcy.
Oh my God. My makeup, I'd have to put it on 2-3 times. The tears running down my eyes because it is such a sad situation.
You know, you're touching on something that means a lot to me is the Shriners Hospitals, the America's First Responders, St. Jude's, Alzheimer's awareness. When we brought the Wizzo character out, when Marshall's family and Marshall said, hey, Tom, and I pitched the idea to him a few years earlier, but they said, hey, we'd like you to continue the legacy. And so in speaking with my friend, and you met Glenn Chelius,
Sure.
he and I brainstormed, and I said, there has to be a reason why Wizzo's coming back out. And we said right away, Alzheimer's. So we designed the costume to be purple and to reflect the Alzheimer's colors. And it's a great honor to have been involved with the Alzheimer's awareness groups and some of the fundraising. We've raised several thousands of dollars. We had a wonderful time in Santa's Village, one of your sponsors.
Here's a picture of Wizzo at the car show.
Oh, there we are. Check him out.
There you are.
That's
From
my
America's
car.
First
You know,
Responders.
what kind of car that is? You know what kind of car that is,
It looks
right?
like a Packer.
No, that's a Rose Canardly.
A Rose Canard.
Yeah, you never heard of a Rose Canardly?
No, sir.
It's a beautiful car. It rolls down one hill and can hardly get up the
Yeah,
next.
that's what it is.
Oh, that was a great photograph. Where'd you get that?
And then
Oh, is that
I'll
nice?
send it to you,
Is
yeah.
that from Sue and them?
no, that was taken by Bruce Shipyer.
Oh, yeah, Bruce and Sue. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bruce and Sue
Bruce and
Shipyard.
Sue Shipyard.
Yeah, how wonderful people.
Great photographers.
Yeah.
Always supporters of the station. Yeah.
They are absolutely wonderful,
wonderful
people.
people?
They have captured so many great images of Elgin just being Elgin and
Right.
it being fun and being an inviting city where it is welcoming. You can walk down the streets here. People say good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But you've really captured.
We get away from things. I'm sorry
That's
if we
okay.
digress
No,
a little
you
bit.
have
If
cap-
anyone's got a call, you know.
Now we're waiting for him. But you've captured so much, a span of so much time within your collection.
79 years.
It is just amazing.
We're hoping to hold on to it to the 80th.
But the Chicago is 65 years old.
Yes. Yes.
But everywhere else is.
Well, some of the stations had shows that, like the Grand Rapids station that had Dick Richards as Bozo, that was several decades. And Art Servey in Detroit, he portrayed Bozo for several decades.
Now, did you know these different?
I've interviewed them and spoken with them.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've interviewed and spoken with many of the Bozo actors across the country. Unfortunately, prior to the internet and even during the internet years, some of the folks have passed away.
Right.
And in some cases, they may be living in a senior center where you can't find them. Their address is not posted because they're pretty much off the board now.
Sure.
And that has happened a couple of times. But in my research, if I can't find the actual people, let me speak with the family. Let me speak with friends, coworkers, and such. And I'm not.
And I
looking,
imagine you get some piece of memorabilia.
sometimes you do, and that's what I was getting at. I don't always want to own their memento, but if they're willing to share it and maybe allow me to put it in the archives, that'd be great. But a copy is better than nothing.
Sure.
Here's how I look at it. in the country, we have all sorts of things that happen. God forbid, floods, fires, tornadoes, what have you. It's good to have the material in different parts of the country being archived. My friend Rob Labby was Bozo in Louisiana, and we had a number of situations occur in Louisiana. Katrina wiped out everything that he had. He only had a couple of photographs. And so, and those are missing as well. And luckily, he had archived those few photographs online, and he shared them with me and shared with me his story of gaining the role of Bozo for the TV station he worked at. And in some cases, there have been items found that were not meant to be found in some cases because they were located at a Goodwill dump. Wow. A Goodwill dump store is a store or a room full of bins where they just throw stuff.
Have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they just throw it in there.
They have no clue what it was.
Yeah, and someone...
Like a pair of shoes like that.
Yeah, they could have found
these are old Halloween costumes.
Yep, and it gets thrown in there. Yeah. And one of the scrapbooks I have in the collection was found, and it had some images, and a guy contacted me. He's really cool. He's up in the Seattle area. He goes, I found this, and I think you should have it. So we talked about it, and he mailed it to me, and lo and behold, it's the only material available from this gentleman's time as Bozo up in the Seattle area. I know that's kind of wacky. Why is this guy collecting all this? But if it's not collected and archived, it gets lost.
Lost forever.
Yeah, and if the stories aren't told...
was such an icon for me growing up, I know for you, but so many people have great memories of Bozo the Clown.
That's why this great opportunity with WRMN and with initially starting with responsive mailroom and collector's call, but this opportunity with WRMN to stage the Bozeum to help fans remember the fun.
Right.
You know, to be a kid again. To go and say, hey, I think I have a picture of myself with Bozo. I'd like to be a part of history. I'd like to share that. Oh, I was on the grand prize game and they took a picture of me. I'd like to share a copy of that.
Well, how about you found out that Maggie Beyer, she did the Ice Capade.
Isn't that beautiful? She did that ice with her brother. She was on the Bozo Circus show, and they had some footage, and they shared that.
Yeah. These are the type of things. So, folks, you have any type of Bozo memorabilia, call our station, WRMN1410.com. You could reach Tom directly at that 847 number that we had given to me earlier. It's 224-760-3747. 224-760-3747. Send them a text, send them a copy, do whatever you're able to do. But Tom, you stick around for a little bit?
I can for you.
I love that. All right, so we're going to be back in just a few short moments, everybody. We're going to come back, talk to Tom Holbrook, more about the Bozeum. A lot of good things, a lot of good pieces of, little memory that's out there. Kind of brings it back for everybody. So we'll see you in just a few short moments after these messages.